So listen, I want you guys to break this down, right, in terms of knowledge. I want you guys to write this on paper, right? This is the 4 phases of knowledge. Because you guys are in the room and you guys are picking up a lot of game, but I need you guys to really understand knowledge. Everybody say knowledge.
Knowledge.
You guys hear the saying that knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power, right? But how many times, bless you, how many times are we get, good information, all these different things, but it's just not really, we're not really taking advantage of it. So I want you guys to understand these 4 phases of knowledge, because once you understand it, you're going to be able to become a lot more effective. So the first phase of knowledge is learning knowledge. Here you guys are learning information. You're learning about building an Airbnb business. You're learning about creating passive income. You're learning about business credit. You're learning about scaling a business. You're learning about, legacy planning. You're learning all these different things. That's the first phase, learning knowledge. Should it stop there?
No.
If you just stopped here, if you just said, I'm putting this on paper and I'm learning it, what's going to happen?
Forget it.
Just going to forget it. How many of you guys took Spanish class? How many of you guys can speak Spanish effectively right now? Maybe like one and a half, 2 people.
I didn't take Spanish.
But guess what? I'm going to tell you what. He didn't take Spanish class, but there's a reason why he's really effective at Spanish. And this goes to the next phase. Activity knowledge. He didn't go to Spanish class, but where did you go?
YouTube. Friends, family.
No, but like you traveled, you went to certain places?
Oh, yeah. Traveling as well, going to different countries.
In the environment, talking Spanish, hanging around Spanish people, having to speak Spanish. That's activity knowledge. This is where a lot of people stop. This is where a lot of people give up. This is where a lot of people fall short. Is the activity knowledge. Everybody say action.
Action.
Action cures everything. You can learn everything until you're blue in the face, but if you're not taking action, it means nothing. If information was all that we needed, everybody would be rich, skinny, and happy. If information was all that we needed, librarians would be rich.
Okay.
But it's not enough. We got to execute. We got to take action. So you learn something, and then you actually act on the information. And that's when we really start to get it. Isn't there a difference between just learning something and actually taking action on it?
Yes.
You can't read how to drive. You can't read how to swim. That's the start, maybe. You can read some tips, but you got to swim. You got to build. Everybody say build. You got to build the business. You want to build the Airbnb business, you got to talk to the landlords. You got to talk to the property managers. You got to go on the appointments. You got to collect the decisions. That's all it is for me. I don't care about no's. I'm collecting decisions. Tell me yes, tell me no, tell me quick, I got to go. Because I'm on to the next one. I'm emotionally detached. Activity. We got to put into action. Okay? And then after the activity knowledge, this is where we go to the next phase. Modeling knowledge. What does that mean? It's finding someone that's excelling at a very high level in that very thing. And it's modeling their ways, modeling their thought process, modeling their belief on how they've created success in that very thing. And that's how we go to a whole nother level in that thing. Do you guys understand the most successful people on this planet, they have mentors. They have coaches. Do you understand why? Michael Jordan had a what? Coach. Kobe Bryant had a what? Coach. The people that we look up to, the most successful people, have coaches. Why don't we? Why didn't our parents tell us to have a coach? They didn't have one themselves. But modeling knowledge is so powerful because, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not just enough, like I said, it's not just enough of the information, right? But I think one of the biggest things for me on why having a mentor is so important is because I'm watching them on how they do things, but most importantly, I'm paying attention to how they think. I'm adopting their philosophy. I'm adopting just how they're moving, like I'm literally seeing it. Like to a T. I'm like, wow, okay, that makes sense. They're an example. Everybody say example. Example. You need an example. That's leadership. I say leadership. Leadership. A lot of us, we need to humble ourselves because here's the deal. For me, years ago, not in a really good place, financially not where I want to be. I had to humble myself and say, you know what? I am not where I want to be. I don't know everything. I clearly don't know enough of what I need to know to go to the next level. Let me find some people that are at a higher level and let me have them be my mentor or my coach, so that way they can be an example for me. So I can start borrowing their belief. Because guess what? They've been there, done that. So they've gone through the foggy highway. They've gone through the fear. They've gone through the uncertainty. They've gone through the mistakes. They've gone through the failures. So if I say, hey, coach, I want to do this, but I'm a little nervous. It's a little foggy. They're just going to laugh and be like, I get it. I've been there. This is what you do. This is what you do. So that way I can go through the fog faster. A lot of us, we're trying to go through the fog by ourselves. And guess what? That makes us move slower, longer. And then the last phase of knowledge is teaching knowledge. This is the highest phase, right? This is the most profitable phase, right? When people get to the point of teaching the knowledge, that's where you make the big bucks, right? Like, I remember hearing something years ago from a mentor, but he was like, the person with the clicker gets paid quicker. And that was so profound to me, and I just really when I really understood that and just went through those 4 phases, like, okay, cool, what was the start of that? Because I used to go to events, and I would be in the room, and I would feel like this small. I feel like this small because I'm seeing all the people in the room, and I'm looking at the speaker on stage, and they're talking about how to do X, Y, Z, and I'm hearing the stories and how they went from, just from the dump to like this crazy, magnificent story that they built and all this glory, and I'm just like, damn. And they're speaking so confident and eloquent, and I'm an introvert, and I'm like scared of public speaking, and I'm just like, I could never do that. And I'm sitting in the back of the room and I'm looking, I'm just like, I don't know how they're even doing that. Like, that's just crazy. And what I had to start realizing was, these people are no better than me. They went through their own journey. They went through their own process. And matter of fact, when I started to get to know these people and really understood their stories, a lot of these people, they came from nothing. And they just built it from the ground up. And what you have to understand is, a lot of times we have these big goals and we get really scared by these goals because they're so big. And the thing is, we don't even feel like we're the type of person that can achieve that goal. And sometimes we get so overwhelmed that we don't even move forward because we're like, I don't really think I can do that. But maybe you got to stop looking at things so big to the point where it overwhelms you. Start looking at things like small steps. Everybody say small steps.
Small steps.
Everything big starts small, right? What's the next step? Let's not even focus on the huge goal. What do we need to do starting tonight? Let's start the LLC. Let's book 1 appointment to go to a property. You know what I'm saying? The small steps. Inch by inch makes everything a cinch. Yard by yard makes everything hard. When we look at things too big, they look harder than what it is. But if we look at things small and take the small steps, we're a lot more effective. We're consistent. Everybody say consistent.
Consistent.
It's easier to be consistent when you focus on the small steps. Set small steps, set dates. I'm going to do this small step by this date. The next small step by this date. The next small step by this date. And do you know you'll be so much more further 1 month, 1 year from today, if you just did the small thing. A lot of times we want to make all this money and we get so caught up on, we got to do all this stuff. Just do the small things. And you'll separate yourself from most people in this world. Most people aren't doing the small things. So how do you expect to do the big things if you're not even going to do the small things?